So should we talk about Salem's Lot?
Sure.
It was originally supposed to be released in September of 2022 in theaters. And with everything going on with Max and the CEO, he's picking and choosing what movies he wants to release and which ones he doesn't, and he gets a tax break from them if they don't release. So, like, the major ones were like Batgirl was a movie, and it was supposed to come out in theaters, then Max, and then it's not coming out at all, unless it probably leaks online, hopefully. And then another one was Wile E. Coyote versus Acme, which I heard is a really good movie, and that's not releasing. He shopped it around to other streaming services. They offered him money. He's like, nah, I'll just not release it and take the tax break. So, yeah. And this was directed by Gary Doberman.
Doberman,
He's not
that's a dog.
Yeah, he's not a dog that I know of, but he does have the dog hair from.
I think you should.
I think you should leave. That might be part of it.
It's just the shark was as close to me as that guy whose hair looks like dog ears. I actually thought that was a dog at dead
She was gonna be there, so.
It's like a
But the only other movie he's ever directed that I saw was Annabelle Comes Home. The Annabelle movies about the haunted doll.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen it because I watched the first Annabelle and it was just dog shit. So, but apparently the other movies are pretty good.
Okay.
Or decent at least. So, what did you think of Salem's Lot?
I like vampire movies and zombie movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
That's two things that are kind of similar to me. This movie, I was more engaged in the beginning than, as it goes, it just seems more and more generic.
Yeah. I'll just say now, I haven't read the book. It's based off a Stephen King book.
Okay.
I haven't seen like the miniseries, or I guess it's a miniseries. I just seen it on Max, and it was like 3 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much of a miniseries that is. And I'm like you. I really was digging the first half. I was like surprised because it's October. It's the beginning of October. I'm getting those October vibes from this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's feeling like something like It, or it's just got the really good vibes and really well shot actually.
Mm-hmm.
The lighting and everything, just the vibes, some of the tension in it, and it's got like a really good cast too. Got Alfred Woodard, who is a pretty well-known actress, and she's been in a lot of great stuff. And Bill Camp, I see him in a bunch of stuff. You would probably know more from like The Leftovers. He's like the teacher.
I like him.
William Sadler, I don't know, you're probably not too familiar with him, but he's kind of like a character actor, and I haven't seen him in anything for a while. He looked pretty old in this, but it kind of makes me feel, and I looked it up, he's like 75 years old, so I can't.
The school teacher?
That is, Bill Camp is a school teacher, William Sadler is the sheriff, which he doesn't get a whole lot to do in this movie, I don't think. And I think that's kind of like a thing with this movie, but we'll go into it. And then the main character is Lewis Pullman, which we recognized him in other movies, I just couldn't point him out, but apparently he's Bill Pullman's son. He's an actor who was in like Independence Day and stuff. So yeah, I was really digging the first half, but I think like the second half felt kind of rushed.
I just wasn't very happy with what the story was going, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Usually in a movie, you don't find ways to kill vampires.
Well, the Bill Camp, the school teacher, had all the knowledge of vampires apparently, and the little kid. And I want to talk about that little kid here in a bit, okay?
Superpower kid.
Yeah, it doesn't really. Well, I feel it'd be like bogging a story down. It's like, well, let's research the vampires. What happens to the vampires? And some movies, it's like holy water doesn't work, crosses don't work.
Yeah.
Like all of it works in this movie. Like it's just.
But it's like you also don't need to be a vampire expert to know all that. I know garlic and crosses and this and that works, but it's just, like I said, it went to like a very generic trend. I feel like once you find out all of these traditional vampire poison works, and you're like, then interesting that's left for the movie.
Yeah, it's like they had the actor who played Euron Greyjoy in. He brought the main vampire, Harlow, I guess is his name. He brought him. He brought the coffin in and put it in the basement of this house that's known for. And a lot of this is not explored in the movie. Like I think it's probably way more detailed in like the book or the miniseries, but you get no explanation like that. Euron Greyjoy, he's barely in the movie. You don't know any motivation or where he's from. He
was just shopping randomly on Etsy and got the coffin.
Apparently, and you could tell this was made like 3 years ago because it's got that little kid actor who plays Homelander's son, and we just saw the last season of The Boys, and he's like a teenager in that, and then you watch this, he's a little kid.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't hit puberty yet, which I thought was funny. I want to talk about that kid, okay? The not the Homelander kid, but the main kid of this, where you get like the sense that he's kind of a little badass, and he takes out that bully. But I don't know if he's like a badass or like a full-on psychopath, because in that one scene he just takes that crowbar. It's not even self-defense. He just goes and like whacks, and then like blood sprays up, and he has no hesitation. Like
natural born killers.
Yeah, apparently. I was like, Jesus Christ, and
I know.
I laughed out loud when that happened.
That boy shows no fear, and that was his first violent attempt, and he killed a guy.
Yeah, he's a guy. He's not a vampire. He's a human dude. So yeah, I thought the last part was kind of rushed, kind of ridiculous. Every time they decide to attack the vampires is like right before sundown, and then like every tense action scene was them like fighting vampires, or vampires are chasing him, or they're opening a coffin, and there's like this shade that's slowly like coming down. I'm like, come on. Like,
well, compared to like the other movie that also uses sunlight against vampires, that vampire girl who does ballet that we saw. I don't remember the name of the movie. And
I was about to say Annabelle, but it's Abigail.
Abigail, yes.
Okay.
So that Abigail movie also uses sunlight against vampire, but I feel like that was a lot more strategic and smartly written.
Yeah, well, they're outside in this movie, and it's like a shade from the drive-in movie screen, or just a shade that's coming over when he's trying to open a coffin. I'm like, it seemed a little forced with that. So
plus they really like the attempt of him like trying to open up the coffin, and he couldn't do it. I'm like, that is so fake, dude. You did not even try, or you just intend, because the director told you to wait to open it slower so the sun doesn't shine on it.
Yeah, I was surprised how much of a nosedive the movie took in that last half. But with that said, I think visually the movie's like really good looking, even like through the second half. But like I mentioned before, I haven't read the book or watched the miniseries, but I did watch Midnight Mass, which is, I think, probably heavily inspired by Salem's Lot. Excellent miniseries. That's from Mike Flanagan. So we recently, last year, we watched The Fall of the House of Usher. He made a bunch of miniseries, which are fantastic on Netflix. And I don't know, I mean, I think I enjoyed this on a level that it's kind of like a B movie almost, because I have really no connection to the source material or the miniseries. So in that respect, I think I enjoyed it, because this is like the first new horror movie I watched in October. So that might make me a little biased too, but definitely I would recommend Midnight Mass over this, even though it's like several hours longer. But yeah, what do you think of Salem's Lot, the remake?
It was fine. I did kind of fell asleep during the end because it went boring and I just can no longer.
You're not excited by the shade that's slowly creeping on him?
I mean, I was still halfway following that, but I'm like, I don't really care what happens afterwards, because the first half is actually really good, how they set up the story, orphan dude coming back to town, like searching for answers of his past.
Yeah, that's not really explored either.
Yeah, I thought it would be like vampire related. I don't know, but like I don't think I enjoyed this movie as much, to be honest.
Okay.
Overall rating for me, this could be a 2 out of 5 ish.
Okay.
It just
You say skip it, don't stream it, or skip it.
skip it, I want to say. There's
Okay.
nothing really. I think, especially, I think these days when it comes to vampire movies or zombie movies, I have higher expectations because these are topics that are widely explored by a lot of, filmmakers or like even TV series. So I expect a lot more. So if you're gonna give me mediocre stuff or generic way of how to kill a vampire, I'm not gonna enjoy it much. So this is what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay. I think I liked it maybe a tad bit more than you because of the visuals, that first half, the actors,
Yeah,
even
the actors
though they're kind of underutilized for their talent, I still liked it in a B movie sense. I could tell, like, and especially since I haven't read the source material or watched the original miniseries, I think that helps my enjoyment a little bit more. I think people who love the book or the miniseries are probably going to hate this, but in a B movie sense, I enjoyed it too. I think I'd probably go 2.5. I say it's worth streaming if you're just looking to throw something on you can pay half attention to in the last half on October. It's got the cool October vibes in the beginning.
I don't think what you just said made the audience any excited that you can't,
Well,
you can't
I
pay
mean,
half-assed attention to
Yeah,
the
I
second.
mean, I think it's enjoyable enough, but it's very just mid for me.
Just don't have high expectation going in. That probably make it more enjoyable, huh?
Yeah, or just watch Midnight Mass. Like, yeah, I like Midnight Mass. Maybe I'll check out the Salem's Lot book sometime. But
He's a monster.
if you watched Salem's Lot, let us know what you thought down in the comments. Hit that bell icon, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, and we'll see you later.